it works so good that I was sitting here wondering, like, why didn't I ever do this before, as long as she was able to wear it? I like to know where people stand so I know how to treat you accordingly.
Maybe trying to do it, I'm just doing me. Yeah. I be working hard and they just want it free. Let's go. Look at how I'm whipping, so they tripping now. Take away the fake, you see the difference now.
Be competitive with yourself. Hey, what's going on? This is Jsean for another quick and cool pickup. This video is a little bit different because it's about something I normally don't cover in the channel. I tried to do it before because I know there's a lot of people who have similar interests, have nothing to do with any other video. It's just I'm sharing what is basically makes sense for my life and seeing how it can affect yours in a positive way and help you make better decisions about something, or just for pure entertainment, whatever comes first, right? So, some of you might know I actually have a toy poodle, a small breed, right? Especially for those type of breeds, I've never looked at shock collars as an option. I never looked at it as something that could be helpful. It just, a lot of people don't like it. Like, I used to have pit bulls, and pit bulls, you have those prong collars basically, where a lot of people don't think they're appropriate. I'm not here to tell you what's appropriate, not appropriate. I'm just telling you my experience and how you can apply it for your situation or not your situation. It all depends on your situation and how you are and etc., right? At the end of the day, if you can afford to hire a trainer, I would suggest you just hire a trainer. Every time I drop a crumb, I don't need her running and eating it. She don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It could be something not good for her that's not edible. But knowing my dog's behavior, she's eating things that ain't meant to eat. You know what I'm saying? So I just was like, you know what? Let me just look into shot collars. Because I used to always joke and say, man, a shot collar on that little dog, man, it'll fire her up like a piece of chicken. Like, I was just being funny, you know what I mean? And I was like saying it in a way where I was saying it's like something that's way too extreme to even consider. But I was having a talk with somebody and we were kind of just joking about it. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? Let me just look into it. And as I'm searching, it may not be the best one, but I picked one that I felt like had good ratings overall, because any product that you buy, no matter what brand it is, no matter how long they've been in business, no matter how good the product is going to have negative reviews. This is what you need to understand. No matter how good I can be in talking into this camera, I'm going to have thumbs down here or there. And no matter who the person is, who the artist is, who the actor is, they're going to have always negative reviews, right? You can't always look at that. You gotta kind of weigh the odds and see what works best for you. So I could be talking way too much for y'all, and some of y'all want me to get to the point, and some of y'all may want to hear the deeper end of the story to see how it connects with you in a different type of way, right? So I'm just gonna get now to the point of the product that I picked up, and then I'm gonna walk you through why I'm even making this video. All right, so this is the product right here. It's called PATPET. All right. Again, there's a lot of different companies that make similar things. This one was around the $50 mark. I think there was a coupon or something on Amazon. It was like $45 out the door, basically. Okay. If you need to see the details of the SKU, here it is. If you need to reference something, I'm going to try to have everything in the description below. But for some reason, if I don't, there it is. So in the box, there's not much to it. I'm the type of person who wants it so simple. I don't really have to read instructions, all right? That's not being naive about something. It's just that's the user-friendly experience that I personally want as a customer, okay? I understand that some things you do have to read instructions, etc., but I am the type that I don't want to really do that. I want to make it easy as possible. So if you look at this, I already opened this. These are these little rubber prongs. This is like a Mark II version of this particular one. I don't really need to explain the differences. I'm only going to explain, even though I know what they are, I'm just going to explain what my experience is with this particular one. It's a charging cable. It is a micro USB, which is a little outdated, but at the end of the day, it's okay. I've used this already for maybe like 3-4 days, and not even the entire day, just portions of the day. And each section has a power off and on, meaning the collar itself and also the remote. This is a quick instruction manual. As you see, I didn't even need to go through all of it. It's pretty self-explanatory. The only thing you may want to know is like the battery levels and what that would mean, if the light is this or light is that. I would say in my experience in using it, this is a test light. To be honest, the crazy thing is I couldn't even get the test light to work, but it does work. I had put my fingers on the two prongs, which I'm gonna show you right now, because I wanted to see how shocking it would be, right? So this is it. They say this is actually smaller than what it used to be, but I'm going to say this still looks pretty big to me, especially if you're putting it on a dog that's very small, like a toy poodle. This particular one specifically said it was made for smaller animals, right? I think they say the minimum is 6 months. My dog is 9 months. The minimum, whatever poundage it is, mine just makes it over that threshold. It does look a little big on the dog, but here's the charging port. Let me just show you. These are the prongs that connect. They want you to try to make contact with the skin. I think prior, even though I said I wasn't going to talk about the prior one, these came off or something like that. I leave them on. I don't even know if they're supposed to come on or off. They have replacement versions, but they seem like they're not meant to come off when I'm trying to handle them. So I just left them on. They're just the conductive silicone, so I'm assuming they can stay on. So that's what I do. Remember, when you tighten this on your dog, don't make it too tight because this is poking on their neck, and you pretty much want their throat right here and their Adam's apple, whatever, right in the middle, and that's kind of how you place it. With the dog, my dog being so small, it does slide around, even though that's not what you want. But you can just easily turn this on, turn it off. There'll be a light here for it'll be red, it'll be green. It's pretty easy to understand. You can cut this. This is way too big for my dog. You can cut it. I did it kind of sloppy, but you cut it and just light it. Put a lighter to it, and it has plastic fibers or something in here, so it'll melt and it'll be hard, and it won't fray or anything like that. Well, right here it's a little loose, but I cut it kind of goofy. So this is, I don't know about big dogs. I don't know about any dog except my dog. But what I can tell you is my dog's habits. My dog being a dog that I didn't think this would be a good option or something that would make sense. But I'm going to tell you my experience now, finally, after all this talking. And this is the remote right here, as you can see. So this is what I didn't understand. This is the top, actually. And this has two different channels on it. I can't remember. It has something to do with changing the channel or something, or having more than one collar. Take that with a grain of salt. I didn't need that specific function or understanding, so I kind of left that alone, and I didn't really dive much deeper into that. Again, this is about my experience, right? So out the gate, you can turn this on. Let me just show you real quick. This button right here, and there's up and down buttons, right? It looks like a TV remote. It's lightweight. It has a strap on it. When you turn it on, you just hold it for a second, and you're going to see this turning green, and you see a number here. When you turn this up, it goes all, I think 12 or something like that. Oh, 16. This is the shock level, okay? I personally touched the prongs. I don't know if it's designed where you have to touch both of the prongs at the same time, but that's what I did. And I felt it like a little tingle about at 4. Me knowing how small my dog is, I'm like, I don't want to make it too much. Long story short is I leave it at 1, and actually I don't even use the shock function. I never have tried it on her. She doesn't need it. I think it's a bit much. And the reason I say this is because I never thought this would work, right? But it does. This thing right here just makes an audible noise. Maybe if I turn this on, you hear how it's like a beep. I don't know if this is a certain frequency that the dog recognizes. I'm not really sure. This is a vibrate. And it always gives you a visual signal when you're doing something, and then you can shock and it turns red, okay? Now, and it has very good range from what I can tell. This is the cool thing about it for me. When I did my research, and what I saw is that a lot of people who had smaller dogs were using this. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm not the only one who's trying to use it for that purpose. Let's see how it helped them. Let me read the reviews. I mean, that's why this is so helpful. But everybody has different dogs. So I couldn't read like a pit bull or a Great Dane and how they use it and necessarily apply it to my circumstances. I'm looking for somebody who has a small breed of a dog. How did they act to it? How did it even fit their neck? Those are the things that I'm looking for that I feel like can relate to my situation, right? So let me just tell you, based on what I read, I saw a lot of people saying that they didn't need to use the shock portion either. And I'm so surprised that I was thinking after reading certain reviews that were similar to my needs and their pet versus my pet, it seemed like they would just use the vibrate function and sometimes they would use the beep function. I thought the beep was going to be no more than me snapping my fingers at a dog, making a noise. I don't know, again, if it's something to do with the frequency of that beep, but let me tell you, it works. Like, it works so good that I was sitting here wondering, like, why didn't I ever do this before as long as she was able to wear it? It's like, man, when I didn't know what to do, I was thinking the beat wasn't going to do anything. So I tried the vibrate first. I did not even use the shock part. I'm not going to use it. She doesn't need it. There's a certain area I don't want her at on purpose, right? Sometimes, like my dog freaked out when I hit the vibrate because she didn't know where it was coming from. It was like a scary feeling for her because she ran to me. She ran to everybody else because she was scared. Like, what is that? Like, something's making me feel weird. I don't know what it is. And because of that, she was in an area she wasn't supposed to be at, but she didn't leave as quick as I personally wanted her to. But it's like, you have to understand, she didn't know what was going on. She didn't understand why it was happening. So over time, when you do this, you have to, in my opinion, I give a voice command, meaning like, if I don't want her in a certain area, like, no, don't go in this area. I'll say something specific, like kind of like I'm talking to a person, right? But keeping it kind of basic. And then I hit the beep after I say it, just like when you do something and when you do a command and your dog does it, you tell them good girl, good boy, and you give them a treat. It's like acknowledgement, so they can kind of like understand every time I do this, this happens. Well, you do the same thing when she's doing something that she's not supposed to, that you're trying to train her. At least this is how I'm doing it, and I do the beep, right? So now it's to a point where she recognizes when she goes into a certain area that I don't want her in. If she does it and she gets the beep, she'll get out of there. But now, like literally the same day, only using it a few times, I even realized the vibrating is only when I just can't get her to react fast enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't even use the vibrate part. Now, I don't use the shock part. I never used it. I did use the vibrate a few times. And now it's just the beep part. The beep alone is enough for her to like snap out of it and move. She goes right to her bed and sits down and feels like that's a place of safety, or she knows she's not supposed to do something. So now it's to a point I even interact with her like playing fetch, and she'll be so into it. And when my particular dog gets so into it, she'll forget about certain rules because she's just so into that moment. You know what I mean? It's almost like if you train a dog to only be indoors, they can listen, they can do this, they can do that the way that you wanted her to do, or the way you tried to train her to be with commands. But as soon as you take her outdoors, you may have a totally different experience because now there's distractions. Now there's all these things that she can see. It's like she never got trained at all. You have to train her for indoors. You have to train her for outdoors. You have to train her for strangers. You have to train her for how people interact with her. It's like a lot of different scenarios that may be different for her that she doesn't understand. And that's not her fault. It's just she needs the experience, and you as the pack leader or the trainer and to provide that for her, right? Or him. So with my particular dog now, I can just say, no, don't do whatever how I say it to her, like to not go in a certain area, because that's what I say every time I beep, right? But now a lot of times I don't even have to beep. And this is in a very short period of time. I'm literally just saying, don't do it. Or while in the middle of her playing, this is what I was trying to say, I cut myself off. She's in the fetching mode, so she's in the zone where she's probably not gonna listen. I throw it into the area that she's not supposed to go, and she'll stop. I don't even have to beep. I don't have to say no. I don't have to make a noise. I don't have to say anything. She just knows now to not go in that area, and she knows to stop on her own. So she's like, it's the command. What happens as far as experience when she gets there, she's starting to understand what happens when she goes into an area she's not supposed to be at. And then I feel like over a short period of time, she won't need me to say anything like she's already not needing now. But I'm not going to act like she's already perfectly trained and stopped completely. I'll just have it on deck just in case. Outside, I have mulch. It's like treated mulch. I don't know what's in it, but I'm pretty sure it's some type of not healthy thing you're not supposed to eat and chew on. She tends to try to grab it. She sniffs on everything in the grass. I mean, I don't know if you have what kind of pet you have, but a lot of dogs will end up eating other animals' feces and crazy stuff like that. So I don't like her digging her nose into the ground looking for that type of stuff. Rabbit poop or whatever is going on is kind of nasty. This has helped tremendously. It's okay to have your dog bark, I guess. It's up to you, but I don't stop her from doing that. It's just that you know, when you socialize dogs and they don't bark, and when they walk by another person or another dog, I mean, my dog barks at everything. They don't even have to be nearby. That's the thing. They could be far away. She could just hear a voice of another person. So now I've just hitting a button of a beep chime, basically an audible chime, right? No shock therapy of any kind. And she listens. It just snaps her right out of it, like instantly. So I super duper recommend it if you're in a circumstance like mine. Again, if you have a larger breed, I'm not really sure. I'm pretty sure it still works because a lot of good reviews were there for bigger and smaller breeds. My specific issue was her being a small breed, and my biggest issue was her age and making sure that it's something that could work with my scenario, because I honestly, like I said, I didn't even think it was a possibility of something that I would consider, just being how small she was and thinking that these type of collars are only made for shock collars, right? So it's really cool. I don't know if they've always been like this, not just been ignorant to what's been available, but I think it's super dope that they have different levels, you know what I mean? Different levels of training. And yeah, definitely check the dog all the time. If you do use the shock portion of it, make sure you check your dog. Make sure it's not doing something and burning. I don't know. Just make sure you check on the safety of your dog first, or your pet. Make sure you turn this on first before you put it on, because if you put it on and then power it on, it will vibrate and might freak your dog out. I know it freaks mine out. So I'll turn it on first. The range is excellent. I don't know the distance exactly, but I've been pretty far away and it works well. And it's to the point now, like I do crate at night for training purposes and stuff like that. And I do have like a play yard type of scenario, but it's to the point where I don't even use that anymore. I can trust not being around and she not going into the areas that I need her not to be in. And it's to a point where I think over time, the way I feel like it should be is just having her a part of everything without worrying about, oh, it's dinner time, I might drop something on the ground. Because everybody's different. Some people feed their dog table food. I personally don't. I know a lot of people can, and some people don't have issues giving their dog table food, but I actually had a bad experience with it. She just since she's been born, she just has not been consuming that at all. So because of that, long story short is she had to go to the vet. She was super sick, throwing up both ends, and it just wasn't a good scenario for her. So yeah, I just don't do that with my particular pet. What you do with yours is your business and what you want to do. So with that being said, 100% recommend this. 100% recommend it. There probably are better brands and other brands and all kind of stuff. I can't speak for that. I can only speak for the one that I tried. Super satisfied. I mean, I noticed a difference immediately, like the same night. You know what I mean? Make sure you turn it off, though. Take it off. Don't leave it on all the time. Just do it as needed, and then hopefully you can just phase it out, and you can enjoy the company or with your companion, within your household or your situation, big, small breed, whatever breed, and hopefully it can work out for you. It did for me. So with that being said, make sure you do everything at top level, at your top level. Remember, you're no competition with anybody except yourself. So make sure your next move is your best move, or at least your better move. Until next time, later.